Guide me among those whom thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what thou hast judged. Surely thou judgest, and none can judge against thee, and he whom thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art thou, O Lord, and exalted be thee above what they set up besides thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is thy servant and apostle. Amen.
To share with you some of the magnificent and triumphant teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. When we say magnificent and triumphant teachings, these two words, magnificent and triumphant, are adjectives that describe the teaching of Elijah Muhammad. That which is magnificent is that which is supremely great. That which is triumphant is that which is powerful enough to overcome obstacles. Think of it, black man and woman. There is a teaching in America for you that is supremely great, meaning that it is a teaching above all other teachings that has ever entered the ears of a black man and woman.
You belong to yourself. You're an independent people, created from the nation of free people. Yes, sir. You don't need to go nowhere but to yourself. Yes, sir. There will be a great separation. Yes, sir. So I said, it is on now.
The college is meant to prepare you for your future. That the time dictates that if we don't do something for ourselves as a people, we will be destroyed. And the aim of the enemy right now is to take us out.
We have God with us. We have Him as our guide. Yes, sir. We don't have to stand around here and ask the question, what must be done? Yes, sir. Get up and let's go and do something. Yes, sir. We cannot sit down. We cannot lay down. Yes, sir. We must get up. Yes, sir. And go to work.
Do you know what real joy is in life? Visioning something and bringing it into reality. That's real joy. Do you know what the next step in joy is? Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell in unity.
Tonight, you need to fasten your seatbelts. We're going to hear from some of the greatest minds in the world. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of trusting our future and the future of our children into the hands of those who don't love us. I believe we need to revitalize black leadership.
Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings. You're tuned in to the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talks, where we talk about life, love, and business. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and peace and blessings. Welcome to the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talks, where we talk about life, love, and business. I see y'all chiming in. Wa alaikum salam, Sister Anissa, Sister Marvelous Marva, Brother Lamont. Welcome, welcome. Okay, I see y'all. So welcome. I am Hitting y'all up live from Dallas. My nephew, Ben X, his mother transitioned, and so I came here to support him in that transition process. So we just thought, y'all know me, I'm gonna do coffee talks from wherever, the beach, Africa, the Caribbean. If I could get on and do it and the internet holds up, then that's exactly what I am going to do. So y'all should see my setup over here. If y'all could see me, I have like the tray that they had the coffee and stuff in. I have that. And then I got the Kleenex box on top of that. And then I got the iPad up on top of that because I didn't want to travel with a with my little easel thing. So anyway, but we make it work. I'm gonna take a picture so you all can see. Matter of fact, let me do this so at some point y'all can see what I go through to bring the coffee talks to you. But you know something, before I get into, let me take this picture so y'all can see. There we go. All right. Yes, I will definitely give him your condolences. He's doing well, actually. And I was with him yesterday. Yesterday was the wake, and but he's doing very well. And so before I tell y'all about what's on my mind, oh, thank you. Is the reception good? Okay, good. Before I tell you what's been on my mind like the last week or so, it's just a different angle from the camera, right? So in this case, the camera is like over here. And so I'm the kind of person I look up all the time, but I have to remember not to look this way and look that way because I'm used to my other camera. But um, before I let y'all know what's on my mind and what's been on my mind like the last couple of weeks, um, I wanted to remind you all to go out and get your commemorative Elijah coin pendants. I'm rocking mine right here today. You all can kind of see it. There it is. I put it on with this other chain. And then there's also the graded coins. Our sponsor had a little bit delay in delivering the silver chain, so we're going to be shipping those separately. But because I was so concerned about keeping my word to you all and getting everything out by the date that I promised, we'll just send you the chains. They should be there early this next week, and then we'll get you all your chains out. That'll be like a separate shipment. So don't call me. Some people have called me already and blessed me out because they didn't get no chain. I'm like, whoa, I thought this was a loving campaign. But I think some of us are just so used to people not treating us right. So we handle things a certain way. But it's okay. It's all good. It's all love. And speaking of love, something that's been on my mind a lot lately is just, you all know me, and I move forward with doing things based on vibration. And I find it so important, and I found it even ever so more so important, really in the last couple of years, but more recently in the last couple of months. It's been strongly burning in my mind is making sure that we have good relationships around us. Some of us have relationships that we tolerate, whether it's a marriage or a friendship or, a cousin, a relative, a friend. We tolerate or there's some habit that we have together or whatever it is that we do. We have these relationships that don't feed us. We have relationships that take and subtract from you. And I was just saying to somebody yesterday that when you surround yourself with those kinds of relationships, you're always calculating how not to give up too much or how not to let this person take too much, or you're spending mental energy going, you know what, I talk to this person, but I don't really like them, or they just don't add value. And so what I try to do is add value to every relationship that I'm in some way, shape, form, or fashion. That person on the other side of the relationship can say, yes, I learned something. Yes, I benefited from that love and that attention. Y'all know, I believe everybody should have somebody in their life that just spoils them. So that's important to me, because when you're in a world that's also vibratory, when you're constantly calculating and you're worried about what this person is going to do, or this person don't really like you and this person isn't really feeling you, it takes away from the time that you need and the vibration you need in order to create. It takes away. And next thing you know, you find yourself not producing at the level that you should be producing on, because you're so busy wasting energy trying to deal with this person or people that you just know are either not good for you, but who may just be takers. And so sometimes we have to take inventory of our life. We have to do a couple of things. We have to, number one, make sure that we're not a taker. Okay. Always make sure we're adding value and giving and pouring into people, places, things, situation, adding value. But then at the same time, we want to make sure that you don't have too many relationships that are subtractors or takers, right? Sometimes, because you're going to have enough relationships, whether it's your family and close friends, where you love them enough that you're just going to give to them, no matter what. Whatever you can give to them, that's what you're going to do. That's what you want to do. And so that part of it is fine. But then you got people who are taking from you and you don't really want them to take, right? And so that becomes an issue. And I'm not talking about, for me, like mother, brother, certain relationships where, whatever they need or want, if I got it, they got it. And if they come and say, hey, I want this or that, if I can let it go, then I will. That's those kinds of relationships. But many times we have friends, we have, coworkers, we have people that we're connected to. Some people even we're married to and in relationships to, we don't even like them, and they're just takers. And so that can become very dangerous. It can be dangerous for your health. Most people get bad energy that leads to dis-ease through relationships. Even when you see people who are, prophesizing and casting out demons, and they'll say, well, how did that demon get in that person? Through a relationship. Now, we don't all the way believe in that, but I want to just say, though, that negative energy, that energy that causes a dis-ease, oftentimes comes through bad relationships. So you want to be very careful. You want to make sure that you balance these things out. If you're in a situation, don't stay just because you feel like you need to, or you say you staying because of this or that. Because what are you doing to your body? What are you doing to your ability to heal? If you end up getting some type of ailment, then every cellular structure in your body, every energy in your body goes to that dis-ease or that ailing area of your body in an effort to heal. But if you're so bifurcated where you got some relationships that just pull on you and tug on you and hurt you and you're resisting it. Again, I'm not talking about relationships like with your children or your parents where you want to give. I'm talking about relationships where people are taking from you and there's a tug of war because you're trying to figure out how not to let them take too much. That takes away from your ability to heal. It takes away from your ability to create. It takes away from your ability to make money. Some of us wonder why we ain't got no money. Well, we need to take inventory of the people that are in our lives, or how we see those people that are in our lives. Because if we are seeing people in our lives as takers, and we have all these takers in our lives, we're going to have a hard time making money, because naturally, if you're resisting the takers and then you're trying to go out and get something that you know that they're going to take, you see what you're doing with your energy? Mathematically, it doesn't make sense. So you have to turn that table around and take charge of your personal post, of your personal finances. Take charge of that and then move out. And then say, let me go and see what I can do. Let me see how I can be of service. Let me see how I can add value. I woke up on Wednesday morning and was interesting. Was it Wednesday or Tuesday? One day this week. And God said to me, go and serve, go and be of service. And I remember I said, and this is the honest to God's truth, I said, okay, but I didn't do anything about it. And then the next day, I kept getting the message, go and serve, go and serve. And it was so strong that I literally could not do anything else or see anything else. And I said, oh, wait a minute. If the universe is saying to me that it needs me to adjust my vibration by being of service, and when I go be of service is going to align me or tune my dial right where it needs it to be because it's getting ready to bless me with something, I need to go and serve. Let me say that again. If I got the inspiration to go and serve, I take that to mean that that is the universe saying to me, I need you at a certain vibrational level. I need you turned to a certain channel so that I can bless you in a certain kind of way. And what's going to get you there? Going and being of service. And so I ended up on the night before Thanksgiving donating some meals to some families who were victims of a mass shooting on the west side of Chicago that got little or no coverage. And then on Saturday morning, I got up and did some volunteer work until about 11. I was so tired, but the tired didn't really matter as much to me. I came back home and laid back down, and luckily I had already cooked Wednesday night, so I could just, get up and again be of service again. But the idea was to make sure that I followed that instinctual desire that I was getting, because I knew that I needed to make a tweak in some way based on whatever's about to come down the pike or may have already come down that either I'm conscious of or not conscious of. So pay attention to those types of things. Pay attention to people that you connect yourself with. Pay very close attention to that. Because if that person has really severe negative energy, you may need to manage your time with that person. You may need to say, I'm not dealing with you at all. Or you may need to say, okay, I give you 10%. But you got to look at this stuff mathematically and look at things from a vibrational standpoint. Always look at that like that. Think about that with your food, okay? When you eat food, I can always tell if I start to pick up a couple pounds, that's because I'm eating too much non-vibrational food. So that means I have to go, okay, let me turn up the vegetables. Let me, take a week or a couple days where it's nothing but vegetables, no low vibrational foods. And then I start to see my body to correct itself and get back on course. But you always want to pay attention to those things. There's always a reason. If you're not feeling well, 9 times out of 10, it's a mineral that you're deficient in or that you need to work on adding more of into your system. So there's always a cause and effect for whatever it is that you do. And so when it comes to our health, when it comes to our relationships, our ability to create, when you find yourself kind of stuck in a rut, you have to ask yourself, what have I added to my life lately that maybe I'm not seeing properly? What have I been introduced to that maybe I need to make some adjustments about? And it's okay. And I look at all of those things, those blips and bumps in the road and blips in projects and tiny little health issues as really just our body, our environment saying to us, no, tweak it a little bit. It's like a coach, right? Bend your knees, do this with your arms. So pay really close attention. Don't just go through life like a zombie or a robot. I'm careful with what I have on television when I fall asleep at night. If I can help it, I try not to have anything on and make my last words my prayer of gratitude or a meditation. Or sometimes I'll listen to binaural beats. If I don't do that and I just say, I just want to lay in bed and watch a program, I make sure that the program that I'm watching right before I go to bed is not one, or let me say it this way. I make sure I pay attention to the vibration that the program I'm watching right before I go to bed will, how it will adjust my vibration. Let me say it that way. So things like horror films or murder mysteries and stuff like that, that might not be something I watch either first thing in the morning, excuse me, or right before I go to bed. I try to be careful. I have no tea, no coffee in here. Y'all see what I'm doing? Water. That's all I got. So I'm missing my tea and coffee. I did see a coffee shop nearby, so I'll hit that a little later. But yeah, so pay close attention to that. Pay close attention before you even go into a relationship. What type of vibe does this person give me? How do I feel after I talk to this person? How has my life changed as a result of talking to this person? Because do you know that, and this is why I'm so critical about this, I'm so careful about this. Do you know that you can have a certain type of relationship with somebody, and just from having that relationship with that person, your entire life can fall apart, or your entire life can elevate? A lot of it has to do with the vibration that you share sometimes with one person or a primary person. And love is a powerful conduit, and you have to know how to use love. Love is a powerful conduit. Love is a superpower. Love is all of that. It's where the root of creation is. But you got to be careful, because when you open yourself up from a love standpoint, you got to make sure that that person has the right vibration, or that it's the vibration that you need in order to continue to produce in the rest of your life. Because otherwise, what will happen, just from talking to this person all the time, just from hanging out with this person, just from that person giving you some of their negative and low vibration, it can mess your entire life up. So a lot of people get disease enters them. Certain things are contagious, not only just infectious diseases in terms of, like COVID or a cold or something, but some disease is vibrationally infectious. So you want to be mindful of that as well. Some people, they may be a coworker, or maybe somebody you got to do business with, maybe a family member, and you may have to expose yourself to that person for a certain amount of time. But what you want to make sure of is that if you, let's say you have to expose yourself to that person for an hour, you want to make sure that you have more hours in the day where you're exposed to something that's a higher or a better vibration. So you should walk away feeling productive. You should walk away feeling good. You should walk away feeling certain. There are certain things that I've learned to do, in reading, for example, my scriptures and things like that, or just shows that I may watch, or a program or a motivation, where I'm looking to boost my certainty. And in boosting my certainty, whatever I touch after my certainty has been boosted, it creates a vibration. And now I go out and I'm functioning at that vibration, and I'm a lot more productive. So you want to be mindful of that kind of thing. You got to really be like a scientist when you're creating on this level of manifestation like we're talking about. See, if you have things handed down to you, a lot of times you don't have to worry about it, because it's just going to come to you. If you say, well, I work this good job and I get my paycheck every 2 weeks, think about how much more you may be able to get if you learn to adjust and take care of your vibrations. All right. Does that make sense to everyone? Let me know in the chat what you think, how you feeling about that. Sister Anissa said, that's heavy. I've had to remove people from my life because they always bring a depressed feeling. Yeah. Some people can always bring a depressed feeling, and you have to know how to manage it, because if it's a coworker or a family member or somebody that you can't remove from your life, you have to know how to bring balance with that. That's why I try to be so conscious to make sure that I'm an asset, or I add value as much as I can to the people's lives that I touch. I mean, of course, you just can't do it 24 hours a day. You got to be human. But I try to make sure that my energy is of value. Even think about the internet. You know, stop posting negative things on the internet. Stop posting memes that talk about what money you don't got. Be careful about the energy that gives out, because now you're sending out a vibration into a universe where millions of people are going to receive your vibration, absorb it, and that's how you identify. That becomes your vibrational identity. So if you're always sending stuff out about sick people or negative people or whatever you're always doing, make sure you understand what vibration you're giving off and be responsible for the energy and the vibration that you bring to the room. So, all right, y'all, with that, that was all that was on my mind today. I didn't really have much else. If you all have something in the chat you want to challenge, Brother Lamont said, I've always been a giver. Now I must assess whether there are too many takers in my life. Yeah. Make sure you assess if there's too many takers. You're blessed if you can find people who want to pour into your life, who want to give to you. That's why this podcast and my other shows are so important, because I know that it's hard for a lot of people to find somebody in their life that wants to pour into them. It becomes very difficult, especially if you get real career driven. You oftentimes will go years without finding somebody that just wants to pour into you. And so if you have to hook into Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talks or the Mind of an Entrepreneur show or any of the things that I do, if you go on my page, I try to make sure that you get access to something that means something to you and something that can enrich your life or uplift you, make you feel better, give you some relief from the pressures of this world. Because a lot of times people just want relief. And so you may want relief. And so I also would say this, Brother Lamont, Sister Anissa, the others in the chat who are saying that they've experienced this. I always, whenever I'm experiencing something, I go inside of myself and I ask myself, what am I doing or what am I thinking that could potentially have contributed to this environment that I'm in that I don't like? What am I doing or what am I thinking? What behaviors am I practicing? What do I have faith in? Ooh, check this out. What do I have faith in that is changing the environment, that is changing the people I'm being attracted to? Here's what I mean by that. See, faith, give me the definition of faith. It's the substance of things hoped for, right? The evidence of things not seen. So the question becomes, what is the substance? The substance is, who knows what the substance is? Tell me in the chat. Sister Shara says, I vowed to not get into any new relationships with people who don't add value to my life. Yeah. But sometimes you can't help it, right? You go get a new job or you get a business and the vendor is one of those persons. So you got to weasel your way out of that. I've done that a lot of times where I'll start working with a vendor and it seems like they're on the right track, but then I see that they're kind of just a downer and they don't add value to me, to my business. There's no respect there. Then I will phase those people out. Oftentimes, even if they have a good price, because the amount of time that I have to expose that low vibration, that dis-ease thought to my business will impact whatever little margin I have to give up by maybe going to somebody else that has a better energy, but maybe might have a higher price. So going back to faith, the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. What is the substance? The substance is information. See, the information that you get is what you then begin to believe in. We use this example all the time. It's like if a baby is learning how to walk, the baby is crawling and the baby is doing different things so it can collect more data on how to stand up and walk. So in the collection of that data, it might fall down, it might bump its head, it's got to strengthen its legs, and the baby has to learn how to get its feet together. But the baby is practicing and making movements so that it gets more information. Once it gets more information, it has faith on it. It says, oh, if I hold on to the wall, then I got faith. That information let me know that I can have faith, that I can probably stand up. If I pull up on my mom's pants leg, that's information that now I have, that if I pull here, I can stand up. If I take a step and I wobble, and maybe if I don't go so fast, then that's information that I'm gathering that tells me that I can take a step without falling. Does that make sense to you all? So the substance that you end up having faith in is the movement. See, the reason why a lot of us have faith issues is because we have no movement in our life. Because you can say you believe, but until you've tried that belief, until you've tried to test that belief, you really don't believe, you're just saying it. So it's not in your genetic coding, it's not in your cellular structure, it's not in your vibration, because you're not trying it. So the substance is information. If somebody says to you, well, you should meditate or pray every day. Well, unless you do it and you see results, or you just feel better, then you won't have the information as to whether or not that's true. So your movement becomes the investigation that helps you gather more data to increase your faith. And the more you move, the more your faith increases. When we're stagnant, when we're not doing anything in life, we're just sitting around, we're just sitting there, just not doing anything, not moving forward. That's a person that you would have to question, what is their faith? And a lot of people don't like that, because they like to say, well, Big Mama, all she did was sit in the house and pray. Okay, then we're talking about moving to another level with adding some movement and results to that prayer. What was the results of the prayer? So you don't want to just sit around and not do anything. You want to set a goal, you want to pray, and you want to create movement, because that, again, that movement, the movement is what's going to help you gather information, which is the substance. You don't know the results. That's why it's unseen. So the information, you got to gather it. It's unseen. You got to go out and get it. It's like just putting yourself one foot in front of the other and just keep going and keep going and keep going. You don't know per se that it's going to take you to another level. You're gathering information as you go. So that's what the movement does. So, all right, y'all. Any questions, comments? Let me know in the chat. Otherwise, we will chime in. We got some good guests lined up on the Mind of an Entrepreneur show coming up. We're really pushing also, you guys, and I've been saying this over and over again. Y'all know I'm a broken record, but I don't care. We're pushing through now, especially through the end of the year, to really get a significant number of coins sold. Shout out to our experienced reps who have been doing a great job at just getting the word out there. We now have 3 experienced reps, and you can definitely see them making an impact and people starting to be a little bit more responsive, which is great. And so, and anybody else interested in becoming an experienced rep, where you'll earn commission off of selling the products and services from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House, send me an email to sajdahhouse@gmail.com. That's sajdahhouse@gmail.com. And we got a lot of products and services that you can sell. You can earn a 10% commission. Some of our experienced reps have already started to sell. This way, this helps. Let me tell you something else. One thing about being an entrepreneur is that you have to learn how to be results driven. One of the things I always tell my staff or people I'm coaching or working with is that in business, you're only as good as what you can make happen. So You can constantly keep going to your boss or to the principal of the organization saying, well, I did this and I did that and I blah, 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 blah. But if you're not producing any results, your talking means nothing. So you might be talking and saying this and that over there, but the person over here who's quiet, who's getting massive results, is the person who's going to add more value to the business, to the project, and to the organization. So don't be so quick to try to be slick and just talk about who you know, what you did, where you went, da 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 da. Show results. Be able to say, no, these are my 12 customers. These are my 20 customers. Or another thing, when you're talking about how much you're doing, but the person who's in charge knows that maybe nothing's moving. I have people call me and say, you know what? I've been selling commemorative Elijah coin. And I'm like, really? I don't know where they're getting them at, because they ain't getting them from me. So I already know, and it's not so much that you're lying. You think you're selling, but you're not results oriented. You don't really know how to produce. And again, this is one of those things when you'll be on a hamster wheel. And this is what frustrates people, because they're moving, they're making like they're busy, they playing business, they think they're a connector, they think they're a coordinator, they think they're a salesperson, but they don't have any results, or they have very few results. So you want to be very, very, very mindful of that yourself. In business, remember, you're only as good as what you can make happen. You don't want to consult with anybody or hire anybody or even do business with anybody who all they do is talk. I want to see the business. I didn't want to see a business that you had. I want to see a business you have now. I want to see what you bring to the table. If you don't, it's really just talk. And so what I do in cases like that, I'm just always praying and coaching and trying to help the person to be somebody who can create and generate results. Because a lot of times we're good employees, right? And as an employee, you might just be paid to talk, or you might be able to get a paycheck even though that's all you're doing is talking. You're not producing. And so what I'm hoping that we get from the skill set of everybody who comes on board as an experienced rep is to help them, number one, learn how to tie their faith into cash flow, so that we're not separate going, well, my spirituality is over here, but my cash flow is over here. I want to show you all how to marry those two so that your faith becomes your way of life and you can earn money from that. But also showing us and helping us to practice being results oriented. Because I think that if you just say to a person, just because you're hooked up with me or connected with me, you're going to get a check, that's really crippling people. But if you say, look, if you produce and I eat, you eat, now we're empowering people. And then when you have a situation where you're running your organization and you just need workers, then you go out and you hire just workers. But a good business, good startup businesses need both. They need top-notch salespeople who are results-oriented, that can really push the envelope and push the business and the project to another level. But then they also need the workers who are not interested in all of that, and they just will help you keep things together. So that's important. All right, y'all. So peace and blessings. I'm going to let you all go. Thank you all. I really, really do pray that you all receive more goodness, more love, more abundance, more health, more wealth than you've ever experienced or imagined. And if there's any way that I can contribute to you getting that, to you becoming happier, healthier, wealthier, and experiencing more love, then I'm open and willing to do that. So I thank you all for joining us this morning. Don't forget, if you got Roku TV, go out there and add the Mind of an Entrepreneur show to your channel lineup. and it'll come up with our little Mo Today icon. You just got to go out there and search in the library, The Mind of an Entrepreneur. And then the show should come up, and you'll see a lot of our shows starting to be uploaded there. I'm working on now, because you all know I've been doing this since 2009. I'm working on putting some throwback shows up there. And then some of my shows that are audio, which is probably about a good 5 or 6 years worth, we're going to create some videos and put some B-roll to it, so you'll get the benefit from some of those subjects, especially when I was just starting out with the podcast and starting out with my own independent business. So, all right, y'all. I see y'all in the chat saying everything. All right, peace and blessings. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend as well. And may Allah bless you. Be happier, healthier, wealthier, and to experience more love. Peace and blessings, y'all.